Last time we mentioned a few topics.
Yeah, I guess the attacks on UK retail
Trend? Yeah, exactly.
the attacks on UK retail trade.
And the denial of clients, we can mention that. That they don't really take it seriously, usually.
Yeah, it appears, yeah. So you've got the attacks on M&S, the cooperative, and Harrods.
Exactly.
M&S initially weren't very transparent about what had happened. Co-op looks as though it's going to be probably the biggest cyber attack in UK-focused cyber attack in UK history.
Is it?
Yeah, it looks like they've lost 20 million members' personal details. And they've also lost apparently have lost every single staff member's login credentials. Harrods say they noticed nefarious activity on their network and closed it down. But Cooperative said that they'd taken proactive action initially.
Just I wanted to ask you if we always chat about different aspects of security and during the years, and I was always fascinated by the possibilities, how you can protect systems, your own app, whether you are a solo developer or startup founder. It's always very interesting stuff that you have to look at and be mindful of. But the other thing is that cybersecurity is very abstract for the majority of people.
Yeah.
The business owners, they think that they are not affected. And even if you are a senior developer or just a junior, it's not obvious what kind of tools you should use. There are some automated tools that can scan your repo and all sorts of things. You are always affected, even if you are not in technology.
Absolutely. And I always say cybersecurity isn't about technology. It's about the culture of the organization. If you're a cybersecure organization, that's driven down from the top. If your chief exec says, yeah, we need cybersecurity for everyone, but not me, you're an insecure organization. The CEO is your biggest risk. Yeah, cybersecurity is not just about technology. Yes, technology plays its part, but you've got culture, the awareness of your people. If your people are being continuously trained and made aware, they can be your strongest defense. It's about looking at your processes, your business processes. Are they secure? And finally, it is about technology and making sure you've got the right tools, or, depending on your size, outsourced cybersecurity companies to support you.
Yeah. I remember when you first showed me the Sophos suite or software that you can protect your own laptop. That will be the first step, right?
Yep. So if you're a solopreneur, it is not going to cost you that much to protect yourselves. So you're looking at, number one, making sure your laptop is configured to accept the monthly security updates. Doesn't matter whether you're on a Windows laptop, a Apple Mac, or you're using Linux. Make sure you're configured to accept the updates.
Yeah.
It's point number one. Secondly, look at all your access credentials to every system that you use. Make sure you're not using the same password or sharing passwords across apps. Make sure you have your unique password for each app. Make sure that is complex. And the easiest way to make sure you're using unique and complex passwords is to use Password Manager,
which is built in now in Apple and Windows, so it's easy to.
Yeah, so I would actually say go for a third-party Password Manager rather than keeping it in your browser, because browsers can be hacked. So I would go for a Password Manager app, and that will create you unique, complex passwords for each app that you use. The only password you then need to remember is the password to get you into the app. Also, password technology finally is changing.
It was time, because the user experience of using passwords, multiple passwords, in the last 20 years was very clunky.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah.
You are not technical, it's a pain in the.
Yeah. I would go as far as to say that using passwords is setting up every system to be by default insecure. But now, finally, passwords are changing, and they're changing to passkeys. Complicated to understand, easy to use. So, passkeys are what they say. They're keys to, like you use in your front door. But obviously, a software version of, say you're signing into your Google platform. Google, at their end, has what's known as a public key, and that is an encryption key. Don't worry about how it's put together, because you'll never remember it. You don't need to remember it.
Yeah.
Which everybody accesses, but they can only access it with your individual private key, another string of encrypted text. So when you go to sign into your Google, it says, do you want to use your passkey? That you have to say yes. And it, as far as we are concerned, it will recognize us depending on which device we're using, either by our fingerprint, our face, iris recognition, or whatever biometric we've chosen. But this is going to make things more secure in the short to medium term as they're rolled out, and they're being rolled out with increasing frequency.
Yeah, I see the pop-ups all the time, and I think other people notice that as well. They want to force you to switch.
Indeed, yeah, because it's more secure. If it's more secure, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, I think designers and product managers has a kind of responsibility on that, the wider adoption, because if you don't communicate it well on the screen, people will just ignore it.
Absolutely.
Say just cancel, ignore, and skip.
Yeah.
The other thing, what I noticed, I wanted to purchase a Sophos for my own laptop, and you need to set up a video meeting with a Sophos representative, and only after that you can purchase. I would do this effort, but not everybody.
Not everybody's going to, and I agree with you. And I think the tech companies have got their part to play in cybersecurity, and that's making it easy to purchase their product.
Yeah, because I want to just purchase like
a single license.
Click, download, pay, and
yeah,
there we go. I'm protected.
That's right.
It's an effort to be protected now, and it's not easy to use these tools.
No, that's right. That's right.
If you want, as a business owner, a secure company, you need to get the basics running.
Yes, indeed.
And in the long term, you will have a much calmer sleep at night.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, the 2 points there. Let's just finish going through what the solopreneur can do. So we've said, accept the updates. We've said, secure your access credentials. Third, you've just said about what used to be called antivirus is now endpoint detection and response. And that's because it's now using AI to understand how you use your devices and effectively designs the protection accordingly. And backup.
Yeah, that's what you mentioned last time.
Yeah.
There is even trickle times, different regions.
Indeed.
Automatically, and you don't need to, you just set up once.
I would probably say have a couple of backups. You could take one yourself, but certainly have a third-party outsourced backup provider. I would say a cloud-based one, who will, and as they're backing it up, their own cybersecurity is going to be scanning your data as it's backed up.
Not just iCloud.
No, not just iCloud. You could use that as one backup, but get a professional backup service. There's a number out there who will back up your data. And as I say, their own security will also identify any nasties that may be residing in your data.
Yeah. Yeah, this could be another topic for next time.
I was just going to say, we had a call from a no, he's not celebrity, actually. He's got several employees. He'd outsourced his IT to an IT support company, understandably, not his core skill. As it turns out, it wasn't the IT support company's core skill either. And this IT support company didn't have sufficient cybersecurity in place. They suffered a ransomware attack. He now has 15 years of primary data and 15 years of backup data encrypted by the ransomware, which we're currently trying to help him understand whether we can get it decrypted.
Yeah, you mentioned the co-op and M&S Harrods at this size. Multiple backups, or what is happened there?
This is an interesting one. It looks as though in all three cases that they have been targeted by a group. The name of the group doesn't matter, but it's called Scattered Spiders, who specialize in social engineering attacks. So what they've done is they have gained information about, let's say, Bence, gained information about you, where you're working, what systems you use, from publicly available information, probably your mother's maiden name, which is often a key security question.
Unfortunately, yeah, he's just the only one.
Yeah. And then so say they're targeting one of the big supermarkets because they know that you work there. And they then contact the help desk. Say, "Hi, help desk, I'm Bence. Forgotten my password again. Can I reset my password?"
Actor.
Yeah.
They need to be
the actors. This is the actors.
Yeah.
So they contact the help desk. They've got your username is more than likely your work email address. They've now managed to change your password. And let's say that you're an admin within the large supermarket. They now have access to the scope of your admin work.
Yeah.
And they can move wherever they want in the company because they've got your login details. So yes, that looks as though how probably all three attacks have taken place.
Social engineering.
So they send a phishing email to somebody. And
I think it's very powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is very good that you mentioned that because people need to understand it's not happening on your phones and laptops.
No.
The hacking is happening in your life.
Indeed.
Scary.
So yeah, I'm always saying to people, beware of the amount of information you are putting on social media. Because somebody out there is collecting that and it may be used against you at some point in the future.
Yeah, they invest.
Yeah.
In the future.
Absolutely.
Don't want to name countries, but anyway.
Indeed. Yeah, but yeah, so you've got your nation state attacks against other nations. So you've got the big four, they're conducting cyber warfare against the West. It's as simple as that. And then you've got cyber criminals. If you look at the GDP of the biggest three economies in the world, America and China are still number 1 or 2, oscillating at the top. And cybercrime, the value of cybercrime is equivalent to being the third largest economy in the world.
Yeah. This is not the common knowledge.
No.
Nobody mentions that.
No, it's frightening. It's scary.
Yeah, usually it's not in people's minds. They think that it's an IT problem. It's not mine. But it's everywhere. At least 1 or 2 sessions should be taught to kids in school. I have the feeling.
Absolutely.
Don't eat too much sugar. And don't use the same password. The same.
That's right.
Or use your passkeys. This is very much like brush your teeth.
Yeah.
Basic. And then 90% of the hacks could be avoided. Maybe.
Absolutely.
I don't know.
Absolutely. For a solopreneur, it's relatively easy. Start thinking about your cyber security now and work with somebody who knows what they're talking about, and it will grow with you. Don't suddenly get to 50 employees and then think, yes, we haven't done anything about cybersecurity. Get somebody involved who knows what they're talking about, and they'll advise you as you grow on the best practices. So then we get to the bigger companies, and the basic principles still apply.
Like the small ones.
Making sure your employees aren't using the same password they do for their iCloud, etc. Make sure if you're a big business, you're still using, every employee has access to a password manager, but don't have the admin password admin, because if you get hacked, they've got access to all your passwords. It looks like in the cooperative attack that we were talking about, they have access to all, I think it's 70,000 employees' login details for every app within the cooperative, going by media reports, which does indicate that an admin password had not been changed.
Yeah.
But so yes, the basic principles still apply. But then you need to be looking at getting what we call OSINT, so operational intelligence of the threats against you, having a security operations center, which is monitoring the traffic coming into and out of your organization, looking for anomalies, which could be an attack underway. Also having, you could build security operations center internally, together with a security incident and event management center. You're more likely going to be outsourcing it to a specialist company.
And it's much smaller cost than being hacked.
Invest in cybersecurity, and it's an investment that you'll get an ROI on multiple times. So it is not an expense. The three big retailers are losing millions of pounds due to these cyber attacks.
Which was many times, I don't say that they are in this boat, but many times it's cost saving.
Yeah.
That's what.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. If you look at Marks and Spencer's, their online store was online fashion retail, where in the middle of spring approaching summer, people are thinking about renewing their summer wardrobes. If they can't buy it from M&S, okay, M&S website is down. M&S have withdrawn online sales at the moment. They'll be going to their next favourite retailer.
Competitor. Yeah, but what I meant is when we try to sell cybersecurity services or suggest to companies, they say, no, we don't have budget for now. We don't want to spend on this. That's the response.
Well, that is often the response. But hopefully these three cases will deliver the message that cybersecurity is not an expense. It's an investment in the business, and that it's not just the cost of recovering, of getting back into operation. It is those millions and millions of pounds of lost sales.
Yeah, which you don't normally measure.
It's right. Together with the lost reputation.
Yeah, and the other thing is that sometimes these security measures are inconvenience for the owner and the team, the employees, because you need to use the two-factor authentication. So it makes the process, the everyday life, slower when you ask.
Slightly. But as we keep saying, do you want to be the employee that has found a way around the security processes and be the person who's let the hackers in? Again, it shouldn't be seen as a hindrance. It should be seen as an enabler. Most security processes won't actually slow you down.
If they are planned well.
If they're planned, implemented well, and people understand why they're there.
So it's education, good planning. Yeah. And even if it's not even that expensive, because there you pay a monthly fee, and then
that's right.
Then you saved a lot of money, headache, and your data is secure because it's autonomously saves into the cloud.
Yeah, absolutely.
And of course, hacking is always possible, but then you already made it 99% impossible.
What we're trying to do in the cybersecurity industry, we will never make and we will never promise an organization 100% secure. What we're trying to do is we're trying to make it difficult enough that when the, as we call them, threat actors, the hackers come knocking on the door, it is that bit more difficult to get in and they'll go elsewhere. So it's like securing your house. You don't just have a Yale lock on your front door. He's going to say, no, this is too much of a risk. I'll be called trying to get into this house.
Yeah.
Oh, look, next door, they left all the windows open. I can be in and out in a couple of minutes.
Cars.
Exactly.
They just go to the next.
Cybersecurity is the same.
And how should people imagine this, that this is completely, I assume that completely automated, how they scan for victims, right? So they are not
absolutely.
picking on somebody.
It is very rarely your teenager in his bedroom or her bedroom hacking in. They are businesses exactly the same. It's actually the same as Marks and Spencer's. They have their
Bosses and managers.
Yeah, they have bosses, managers, they have HR departments. I've seen the communication between the insurance negotiators and the hackers of the large organizations. And at one point, the guy on the hacker side doing the negotiation said on the Thursday, look, we've got to get this completed by tomorrow. I'm on annual leave next week. They're big business. Hacking is big business.
Yeah.
As I said earlier on in this chat, if you look at the amount of money that cybercrime gets through cyber hacking, it's equivalent to the third largest GDP in the world.
It's professionally done.
Yeah,
absolutely. Because it's still, many people they think about teenagers doing it unprofessionally, but it's not.
Very rarely.
Sometimes military is involved as well.
Yeah.
Very organized.
Yeah, it's known, as I was saying earlier, about nation-state attacks.
The next one could be about the AI-generated code, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Dedicate 40 minutes or so.
Absolutely.
Because many people are just uploading the running apps live and they have no idea what they are doing.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, next time. Okay. So, yeah, we met at Design District many years ago.
Yeah. So we both work at the Design District. I being Bryan Altimas, run Riverside Call Consulting, who are a data protection, cyber security, and risk of using AI consultancy. And so if you're worried about your cyber security and being hacked, being defrauded, or compliance issues, that's my consultancy. Come and talk to us.
And you are from one of the big four, but it's a different big four. It's Bence.
Yes, so I learned all of this over 17 years working for KPMG, one of the big four consultancies.
That's right. And we started chatting about a lot because I'm an AI consultant and user experience designer. And I'm very interested in security because I do apps as well. So I develop.
Yes, yeah.
AI-generated code is very risky, as everybody knows or assumes. So we chat a lot with Bryan. And also I'm very interested in compliance. So we have a lot of common overlapping areas. GDPR and AI Act kind of fields. You need multiple expertise. You need to have it easy to use, but also compliant, also secure. So many people has to work together for efficient software. And that's why we talk a lot.
Indeed. Yes.
So, yeah, cool.